Hey everybody, it's Chris Mahan. Welcome to a special Lead Your Teen video. We're going to put these videos up on YouTube and hopefully some Facebook and some other things. I want to get into this next week a deep dive into something that has just been affecting our country now for about 25 years. That is a school shooting. Uh, what just happened in Georgia, and I lived in Georgia for many years, so it's kind of really hit home for me. Uh, I want to deep dive into the psychology and the mind, if we can, into a young person as to why they would do these things. And I think I have some reasoning behind it. I talk about a lot of this in my book, uh, Parental Leadership 7 Principles Lead a Teen in Digital Age. We are relaunching this book in a few weeks, so it is off of Amazon. We launched it last year about this time. I took it down to a couple of things. That's why it says this is one of our proof copies. Um, but the book is done. It's out. I'm just going to change a couple things up. But I talk about that throughout this book, along with many other things. But what happened last week in Georgia is something that's happening all over the country, and it can happen anywhere, anytime. And this is a horrible, horrible thing. What I want to get into with you is what I believe are some of the uh, red flags and things that we can catch when a young person has this horrible negative life, when it's like an idea or a thought this big. We take this negative, horrible idea and thought and we allow it to fester and grow and get roots and then get even bigger and bigger. So by the time they're 14, 15 years old, what could have been something that was easily controlled and understood through a lack of parental leadership, or maybe the falling through the cracks through the social system or the legal system, uh, whatever it is, these kids are falling through the cracks. And as a result of that, we as society are paying for it through lost life, through our legal system, through the political debates and all the things we're having over guns. The truth is, I am not a anti-gun person at all. Uh, the issue with guns, like any tool, if someone wants to get hurt, or I'm sorry, wants to hurt someone, they will find a way to do it. Whether it's a gun, whether it's a hammer, whether it's a rope, whether it's fertilizer, like back in the day with the bombing of in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter what it is. If somebody wants to hurt someone, they will find a way to do it. For a teenager, the only thing that they have to really do this is through a weapon such as a gun. The question isn't, are guns going to hurt people? Sure, they will. In the wrong hands, of course. That's why we have to really look at the psychology, the mental health, the environment these kids are in, the missed opportunities to stop something like this. Like, as an example, what I'm reading right now in Georgia, there were plenty of examples a year ago. Like, it was known that he had an issue and a problem, but people believed him, or they thought it was some hacked account or whatever it is. Um, just like the shooting a year ago in Newport News, Virginia, when the 6 year old came in and shot his school teacher. How in the world did a 6 year old get a gun and then know how to put it in a bag, take it to school, pull it out, and shoot someone? 6 years old. What was happening? Well, I knew with that story before it even came out, there had to be dysfunction. There had to be a lot of dysfunction in the family. And that is something that I talk about throughout my entire book. I call it FDD and Plaid. Here it is. I'll show you right here if you can see it. Chapter 2, FDD is family dysfunction denial. In Plaid, I made up back in 2014, which is parental leadership attention deficit disorder. I made that up as kind of a joke to make fun of all the labels that we put on kids. And but it actually works. I mean, I've discovered that actually works to describe some things with parents today. So in the coming weeks, I want to do a video series like this, put it on YouTube, and I would love for your feedback. Now, again, this is not going to be like a guns are bad, you're terrible. This is a honest to goodness. How can we as a society come up with ways to help parents, to help our schools, to help our communities, and to come up with a solution? If we leave it up to politicians, it'll never get done. We know this already. Um, it's a hot button because it ignites some people and it ignites other people, but the problem is nothing in the middle gets done. Um, kids are still hurting each other, people are still hurting each other. So we have a serious issue in this country where we pass the buck, if you will, and we expect someone else to fix it. So I'm going to take this opportunity through YouTube and through my platform with my podcast to connect with you to find out if there's things that we can come up with, present that maybe to legislation or whatever we can do to maybe local schools and say, okay, here, maybe we can try this. And I know that it's really difficult to go to parents that are having a hard time and say, hey, it's what you got to do, because they don't want to listen. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I can tell you that the parents that need the most help and need to do the most don't want to. That's a huge problem. But now we're seeing through the legal action that when their son or daughter does something and they messed it up uh, by giving them a gun or giving them access, now they're going to jail. That's what happened in Michigan. I talk about that in my book. And now this father in Georgia has been arrested. So maybe now, when parents are realizing that, hey, if I don't really pay attention to my kid and I really don't do what I have to do as a parent, I'm going to go to prison. Maybe that is what needs to happen. But at the same time, it's always after the fact. So there's always lost life. So that again isn't really going to stop anything. Maybe for a couple of years it might change, but right now in the present, we have to get serious about what's happening. And the only way to do that is as parents and community leaders is to sit down, discuss problems, issues, and present it to the people that can make that change, which is our politicians. Because as parents and citizens, we don't have that ability to actually uh, write the law. We can push for it, petition for it, demand it to where somebody in that side actually takes it to the next level and presents it as a potential law or policy change, whatever it may be. But until then, until we as citizens and as parents and community leaders step up and say, enough is enough, we're done, it's not going to change. So join me the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a deep dive into this. I want to do as much research as I can. I want your input and to find out what can we do now. There are some psychological things that we're going to discuss when it comes to nurture nature and the environment in the kids home and the social system, the social nets that are, a lot of holes in them, the legal system, how do we deal with that, the education system, what's happening there. I mean, these schools today all have resource officers, but yet the shootings are still happening. So apparently it's not working. So what can we do to make it better? Okay. So with that, I'm gonna leave you guys to think about that. Reach out to me as well. You can leave a DM here on YouTube. You can also email me at leadyourteen, leadyourteen at gmail.com. And just put in there, let's see, what should we call it? Deep dive. That's what you can call it. So in the subject, put deep dive, and I'll know that this is in relation to what we're doing here. And I look forward. I'm sorry, it's Sunday night. I'm a little tired. I look forward to meeting you, talking with you, and actually as a group coming up with some solutions. Again, this is not a debate. We're not going to get to he said, she said, and fighting. I'm not doing that. Uh, have some politeness and some courtesy. This is a very serious issue, so I welcome your thoughts and your input. But just keep in mind, this is not going to be so and so. We're not doing that. We're not getting into the whole crappy stuff. Be serious, and I look forward to hearing you. So, with that, you guys have a great night, and I will have a regular podcast on Wednesday. These will be separate. These videos will be a whole separate deal. So, you guys have a great week, and I will see you all and talk to you all very, very soon.